My next speaker served as a state representative in Hillsborough District 4 from 2004 to 2006. That transitioned to Hillsborough District 5 from 2008 to 2016, and served as the Speaker of the New Hampshire House of Representatives from 2010 to 2012. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the Honorable Bill OBrien.
Thank you, everybody. You know, whenever I come to one of these events, I'm always surprised. And looking at Rich Gerard, you know, Rich has been at it, he says, for 30 years. You must have started when you were about 5 years old, Rich. So congratulations, buddy. You're looking pretty good. You know, Jean Shaheen wants us all to think that she's our grandmother. And I've been watching over the last year or two. She can't even be the adult at the Democrat Kitty Socialist Party. She's been given an opportunity to represent New Hampshire honorably during these last couple of years when the Democrats have been going absolutely crazy. And she clearly hasn't done that. She was given the opportunity in voting on a bill called the Born Alive Act.
Hold the mic closer.
Okay. She's given an opportunity in voting on a bill called the Born Alive Act. Now, the Born Alive Act doesn't ask you what your stand on abortion is. And on my side of that ledger, we have an honorable debate of when life begins and certainly what the balance between privacy is and the life of the unborn. Jean Shaheen, though, was just asked, vote for a bill that will keep a baby alive who's born alive. And she couldn't do it. The authoritarian liberals wouldn't let her do it. She was an embarrassment to our state. That's an embarrassing vote. And it is part of what Jean Shaheen has always been in New Hampshire. She was given the opportunity to vote on a resolution to either adopt or reject Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's New Green Deal. Now, we've all heard of that. That's the one that says no plane travel after 10 years. We're going to take all our current structures and tear them down, rebuild them to be in their vision of what green buildings are. You know, we're going to do away with fossil fuels. Absolute craziness. And Jean Shaheen was given the opportunity to vote for New Hampshire, to represent New Hampshire by voting against that, saying it's crazy. All she could vote was present. You know who wasn't present at that vote several months ago? The people of New Hampshire. We don't have representation that reflects our good common sense. And this is who Jean Shaheen has been. You know, for some of us who have been here over the years, we remember when she came to New Hampshire. We remember that she joined the Clamshell Alliance. She was a leader of the Clamshell Alliance. It drove our largest utility, public service in New Hampshire, into bankruptcy when she opposed the Seabrook Station. And as a direct result of her efforts, then we have the second highest electric rates in the continental United States. We have trouble attracting the businesses that all of us want here. We have trouble attracting those manufacturing jobs that are so dependent on having reasonable energy costs. And that's not all that she did to weaken our state. When she was governor, she managed to get herself elected governor. When she became governor, we had over 20 companies writing medical insurance in Hampshire. She took that down to 2.5 companies. One would write policies, but not in the North Country. She took away a competitive marketplace. When Obamacare came here, one of the things that the Democrats in the legislature, when I was there, were trying to argue is, oh, our premiums are already high. They were. Thank you, Jean Shaheen. we have an opportunity to have better representation across the board in Congress this upcoming election. But one of them is Jean Shaheen. It is time for Jean Shaheen to go. She's nothing more than a tool of this authoritarian liberalism that we see in Washington. And so we're going to have a choice. Republicans will have a choice. There'll be a primary as to who will oppose Jean Shaheen. And our choice is going to be between a proven conservative, someone that went into Concord, went into the legislature, making promises to reduce taxes, making promises to support a life agenda, and keeping those promises. Some of you may well remember that when I became speaker after 4 years of Democrat majorities in the legislature. They had taken us to a point that we had a $1 billion structural deficit, and they were gleeful. They were saying, when the Republicans come in, we will have an income tax, finally, or we'll have a sales tax, finally. My promise to the people of New Hampshire was, we won't do that. And so we reduced the budget 20%, never done before. That's the fiscal responsibility that we need in Washington. Good Lord, if we could reduce the budget of the federal government 20%, these deficits would go away. Prosperity would return to the country in a ways that we've never seen. That can be done. That can be done. And it should be done. We don't hear anybody talking about this deficit we have now, this public debt of $22 trillion. We have to attack it. It's immoral. It's telling our children, our grandchildren, our unborn great-grandchildren that I can't afford the government we have now. We can't afford it, so you'll pay for it 30, 50, 70 years from now. It's absolutely immoral and unsustainable. We need a proven conservative. I told the people of New Hampshire that when we get into a majority, we will push a parental notification bill, a bill that says to parents that unless there's some evidence of parental abuse, if your minor daughters have an abortion, you have a right to know. We passed it over Democrat opposition. We told them that we would reduce taxes even as we reduced the debt. We reduced 12 different taxes. We brought prosperity back to New Hampshire. Our choice is going to be between a proven conservative, someone that you don't have to wonder when they go to Washington, will they somehow drown in the Washington swamp? Will they become part of the problem? We've seen that happen. All of you know we've seen that happen. Our choice is going to be between someone who's unproven but loudly declares that they're a leader and they're conservative. But we've seen people like that go to Washington and fall right in with the rest of them and disappoint us. We've seen people come into New Hampshire claiming vacation homes and a lot of money and a need to make life meaningful for themselves by becoming a U.S. Senator. My commitment to you, and the reason I'm running, is the very reason that I'm asking you to support my candidacy. I looked around at this opportunity, and Jean Shaheen will be beaten. I looked at it and I said, do I want to look at a ballot in November 2020 and sit there and say, who's going to be the conservative? And I don't know. They say they're going to be a conservative. I offer to you a proven conservative, one that you know will get into Washington and work with those reducing spending, protecting our Second Amendment rights, and protecting the social fabric of society, and most importantly, families. Thank you.
How many years has Shaheen been in there? Well, too many. That's perfect. All right. It's time for a changing of the guard. There's no question about that.
Croc TV.